We're back. The best of food and wine with Anthony Gismondi and Kasey Wilson, live from the Wines of Canada stage at the 2017 Vancouver International Wine Festival. Now, here's Tony and Kasey.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
We have a long list of stars tonight, and you know, when your name's on the label and it's your last name, you're a big dog at the winery.
Yes, and you're under a lot of pressure. Is that right?
Yeah. You mean me or no?
No, not you.
Our next guest, Francesco Zonin, joins us. He's the executive vice president of Zonin, in business since 1821. That is impressive.
Oh.
Yeah, 1821. Do you know anybody from back then?
No, but you know, in Italy, it's not that unusual to find such a long tradition, especially in winemaking. So.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel? Like there is quite a good connection, though, to the past in a winery like Zonin.
Absolutely, it's we were born among vineyards, and my father was born among vineyards, my great uncle. So it becomes part of your culture, and becomes part of your kind of a lifestyle. So, and the wine business, it's pretty interesting because it's one of the few businesses where you look in the past when you walk a vineyard, so how to manage a vineyard. But then the market is something very modern and changing so fast. You're right between something that moves extremely fast and something that shouldn't move. So
you have to be looking into the future.
Yeah, you look into the future of consumer. You look into the future, but when you talk about vineyard, you look into the future in a different way. You try, a vine is like a human being, because the lifespan is pretty much the same, between 80 and 100 years. So you try to do everything you can to have a very healthy and long-living vine. So you're pretty close to nature.
Yes,
and it's really interesting.
It's hard to see the future. I say that because the first wine you brought is gone crazy. The sale of Prosecco, and I don't know, maybe 15 years ago you couldn't give it away. And it has a long history or a long tradition, but now it's really popular. What's going on with Prosecco?
Basically, we don't know.
Yeah, but that's a good answer.
It's been Prosecco was started to be drank in Italy about in the 15th century. So still, it's a pretty old tradition, and it was basically a wine that was consumed in the northeast of Italy around Venice.
Yep.
And then from there, especially the sparkling Prosecco, it became more popular. And then about 20 years ago, it did a very difficult thing in Italy. It put together different consumers from different regions, because, we have 20 regions in Italy, 600 variety, and every person in every region drinks a different wine, except for Prosecco, because you can find it from the Alps to Sicily, and that's what we drink. It changed a little bit our lifestyle. And then Europe started, and then UK, the US, and Canada, and now it's the largest appellation in Europe, and it's probably the most sold Italian wine worldwide.
That is incredible. And how long have you been making it?
In 10 years. And everything happened in 10 years.
Yeah.
We started in the 70s. And we're now the largest producer of Prosecco in Italy.
So can we just explain it quite quickly? Prosecco, it's made from the Glera grape variety.
Prosecco is a name of a small village close to Trieste in the Friuli region. And for many years, it was believed that Prosecco was the grape.
Yes.
Because people started to call it the wine from Prosecco, and then with the centuries, the from got deleted. So, and then about 10 years ago, we created the appellation. So it's true. The name of the grape is called Glera. It's a slightly aromatic variety, and it does extremely well because it's has a very fine and elegant bubble. It's a little bit aromatic with a little bit of residual sugar, but not too much, between usually 12 and 18 grams. And it's something that goes well with basically anything.
Almost anything.
Yes,
A little less pressure than champagne too. It makes it a little easier to drink.
Correct. Plus, the second fermentation is not in the bottle. It's not a champenois. It's a charmat. So we make it even easier to drink. If you come to Italy, you will see people having it as an aperitif at 11 a.m. and then before lunch, at lunch, after lunch,
and
before dinner,
after
in the
dinner.
summer with Aperol and
Exactly, or a poolside, and then we have it works also very well with cocktails. So it's a very versatile wine.
What I like about Prosecco is how it's changed our market, because now people are much more interested in drinking sparkling wine. They never used to drink sparkling wine.
It's the same thing that happened in Italy about 10, 15 years ago. Prosecco put bubbles on a table, because usually bubbles were either before or after lunch.
They were out in the
or
lawn
celebration.
or outside.
But now it's more and more common to have a first, glass of wine as an aperitif, and then to sit down and keep drinking
I know,
Prosecco
I think it's
with
wonderful.
the food. And it works.
Zonin makes many different wines now. Or you've decided to branch out into some other regions as well as your home region in the north. One particularly is Tuscany.
Yeah, Tuscany was the second estate, Castello di Albola, that my family bought in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
The first one would be Cabolani in Friuli in 1970.
Yep.
I was saying before, Italy is very rich on local varieties, so the only way to truly understand them is just move there and try to work it out. So in the last 30 years, we bought 9 different wineries. More than wineries, we looked for a very good land. Where you could grow a very interesting variety. So we have a winery in Friuli, Castello di Albola in the Chianti Classico. We have Rocca di Montemassi in Maremma. We have a winery in Piedmont, in Lombardy, in San Gimignano, in Sicily, and Puglia. But Castello di Albola is not because only the winery is very nice, but the whole region and the whole places around are just amazing. It's kind of like the time stop, you go there, you go to Tuscany, see these old houses, and everything moved very slowly, and it's
I like that.
Beautiful.
And where do you live?
I live in Vicenza, which is a city between Venice and Verona. That's where I was born. That's where my family comes from. That's where the first winery is.
So
basically,
on Friday night you can go to Verona or to Venice.
Yeah, but probably I'm more on airplanes than at home.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
true.
It's the other beauty of my business. You get to meet very different people in very different countries, trying different food. It's from a cultural point of view, it's just amazing. I feel very, very lucky.
Well, this Prosecco is delicious, and it's available here in the marketplace.
It is.
Do you have any idea what the cost would be? Can't be too much, could it?
Yeah, no, it's about $20.
Yeah,
and that's I think it's one of the keys of success for Prosecco. It's a very good quality,
good value,
for the price.
Great
value,
and affordable. Well, let's talk about the Chianti Classico. Of course, just that alone means it comes from the center, the heart of the region.
True, is in a small village called Radden Chianti, but where the Chianti appellation was born back in the 15th century.
Yeah, a very famous small village. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of history. And the Castello di Albo is on top of a hill. It's one of the highest vineyard of Sangiovese in Tuscany. The soil is very rocky. It's a typical soil is Galestro and Alberese, and gives a very unique character to the wine. The Chianti Classico from Castello di Albo will never be powerful, will never be juicy. It's all about elegance, and it's all about waiting the right time to sip it, because it takes time in the vineyard more than other varieties to ripen. Mm-hmm. It takes time in the barrel to ripen. It takes time in the bottle to ripen. So as we were saying, life around Castello di Albo moves very slowly, and it's the same thing for the wine. It moves very slowly. So we need time to leave the Sangiovese to express itself.
Yeah. But
when we found this estate, we found an old cellar downstairs, the old villa, and we went some 1930s and 1940s, 1950s vintages, and the wine is still drinking phenomenal. So you need time, but I think it's worth it because it's going to pay you back at the end.
Nice elegance in this wine. And the price, roughly?
It's $26.
Yeah.
And
That's very good value.
A great food wine.
It's always been a great value. We're twice last year and the year before top 100 Wine Spectator. So I think it's an interesting way of expressing the Sangiovese in a very particular microclimate, because Rade is kind of unique. The vineyards are facing south, but it's an average colder climate or colder microclimate compared to the average region of Chianti. So make it say
you can taste it in the wine. It's a much more cooler, more reserved version, more elegant style. You're having fun in Vancouver. It's crazy out there on the floor, eh?
A lot, and I love it. At Vancouver, it's my third time here. I discovered Vancouver too late.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's I've been traveling. Last year I flew 350,000 miles.
Wow.
But Vancouver is one of the few cities where I could move outside of Italy because, first of all, because of the people. Not because they're here, but it's great people.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Nature outside, and it rains a little bit too much for an Italian.
Yes, it does. It does.
I think
Not just Italian, even for a Canadian. When you travel, do people always take you out for dinner to Italian restaurants?
I ask them not to do it.
Good, because we always feel that every time there's somebody from Italy with wine, they always take them out for Italian food.
And we want to take them to a Chinese restaurant or a Thai restaurant or a Canadian,
I love
see
Asian
something
food.
different.
I love Asian food. I love Japanese, but Asian in general. And then I always try to eat and also drink, because everything I never try to drink my. I know my wine.
Sure.
So I try to. The festival is a good chance to.
Yes.
I tasted some amazing wine from Okanagan Valley. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And food as well.
Maybe you'll invest in a winery in the Okanagan one day. Who knows? Then you come to Canada a bit more.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Francesco, Zonin, thanks very much for joining us on the show today. I know you got to get back to the thousands, but thanks. We had a lovely tasting of both the Zonin Prosecco and the Castello d'Aobola Chianti Classico, the 2013, both available here in British Columbia.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
And we're coming to you live from the floor of the 39th Vancouver International Wine Festival. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Michael Barche joins us from the Okanagan Valley, one of the brightest winemakers in the Okanagan.